Hi, guys. 8 down and 4 to go in the regular season. 5 now if you count the SEC championship, because we know that's where the Dogs are headed in a month or so. But first things first, business to take care of. And we've got some guys with us here to tell us how the Dogs are going to do that. DJ Shockley and Eric Zier. And Shock, we'll start with you. And Georgia clinching the SEC East is kind of okay. That's a check mark. It's not the complete goal. We've still got a lot of work to do and a lot of work to finish before we get where we want to go, right?
Yeah, Scott, you're spot on with that. I think when you think about the way this team was constructed and the way that Kirby has built this team, this is just a small stepping stone. I think you hit it right on the head when you said this is definitely a goal, but it's not the goal. And at the end of the season, Kirby's mentioned it. We want to be number one at the end of the year and not really worried about what's happening right now. Now, it's a great honor to be number one. It's a great honor to win the East because I'm sure there are a bunch of teams in this SEC East that would love to have that title. But this is, to be honest, what is expected from this team this year. And I'm glad the Dogs went out and handled their business and didn't have to say, hey, let's depend on Kentucky to lose. Let's depend on somebody else to do something else. So I was glad the Dogs handled their business in an environment where, the Dogs sometimes have struggled. But I'm glad that we did a good job of going out and getting that W. And now to be East champs is great. But the next goal, obviously, is to win the entire league and then go to the playoffs.
Yeah, Scott, I think we've seen that from this team all year long. I don't think there's any question that this team is playing for goals that stretch beyond winning just the East. It really is about playing to our standard, right? Playing to a level of excellence. We've seen it after the Clemson game when we were in the national eye, for sure, of all of college football, and all of a sudden we beat a Clemson team that everybody thought was a lot better than it turns out that they're playing this year. Well, you catapult to number 2, and there's a chance there to read your press clippings. We didn't do it. Arkansas rolls in as a top 10 team in the country. We handle them. And again, there's no let off the following week. We've seen that week after week after week. I think this falls right in line with it. This team is locked in on being as good as they can be every single week, and their goals stretch far beyond just winning the East.
There's 2 SEC games remaining. Missouri this week at noon, and then on the road at Tennessee before we finish up with a pair of non-conference games and then the SEC championship game. What challenges does Missouri provide, guys? Shock, we'll start with you. Tyler Beatty is – I don't know how many times he's going to touch the ball. He may touch the ball 50 times in the game on Saturday.
Oh, no doubt about it. I was looking through some numbers on him, and I said, I don't think there's anybody else on the team that does anything else. He's got 157 attempts as a rusher for 989 yards and averaging over 6 yards a carry. And then you go and say, okay, who's their leading receiver? You look over and it's, Tyler Beatty's got 40 receptions as well as the leading receiver for over 300 yards. And, the next closest guy in the running back field that's closest to him has 23 attempts in Elijah Young. So that tells you exactly what you need to know about this offense and who they want to get the football to. I remember early in the year listening to Eli Drinkowitz talk about he can't get Tyler Beatty the ball enough. So I'm sure Kirby and Dan Lannon will absolutely have his name circled on the board this week. And he'd probably be the first name they talk about when they talk about game planning is we have to know where Tyler Beatty is when he's on the field because they're going to put him all over the field. And he's going to be that one guy that it doesn't matter if he gets 1 or 2 yards, they're going to keep feeding him. He's going to get at least 20, chances to touch the football in this ball game. So this Missouri offense likes to throw it around. Coming into this game, obviously the offense is averaging 34 points a game. The quarterback, Connor Bazelak, is only been sacked 7 times, and he's completing 68% of his passes, which is a phenomenal amount. 37 attempts a game. They want to throw the football a lot. So this is a team that Georgia will get their work in on the back end as well as the front end, trying to get to the quarterback.
They absolutely are. They're going to really ride them into the ground if they have to, and the Dogs will know that. And one of the great things the Dogs have done all year is take away the top threat of whoever it is that we're playing. And really, you go back the past couple of years, we've been able to do that remarkably well. And we will have a we will have a good, solid plan for a team that honestly is struggling quite a bit. But still, when you're playing the SEC, I don't care who the opponent is, you know they can beat you, and our guys will be ready.
And this is staying with the offense. This is a situation where Georgia again has to prepare, maybe for two quarterbacks. Bazelak was injured in the Vanderbilt game, and the freshman Tyler Macon finished the game. So I mean, we've seen this scenario before, and other teams are seeing it from Georgia, having to prepare for. Oh well, is JT Daniels going to get snaps this week, or is it going to be Stetson Bennett? So both teams are kind of in the same situation as far as their prep is concerned at the quarterback situation.
Yeah, that's just one of the unique things that you have to go through in this league. And I think, most teams around the country, they want to have at least two guys that if one guy goes down, similar to what's happening in Missouri, or similarly what's happening at Georgia, that you have another guy who can step in. And most defensive coaches understand that. And I think they always prepare for that other guy. Like I remember going through plans when we were playing. I remember the defense guys talking about, yeah, they got this guy, but they also have maybe one or two periods in practice where they go and they work on just this particular style of quarterback or this particular style of back. So I know Coach Landon and Coach Kirby will make sure that they have a plan for both guys, regardless of what happened last week. They're going to make sure that even if two guys play, they're prepared for both instances.
Listen, I think Bazelak is a very, very good quarterback. The talent that surrounds him right now, he's playing on a football team that is struggling some, but it was over 2,000 yards throwing the football. He's putting the football in the end zone. If he's got one thing that's hampered a little bit, like we saw with the Florida quarterbacks last week, is he's been prone to the interception. He's got, I think, 8 on the year right now, which it's tough to win football games when you throw that many picks. But he is a talented guy. He's athletic. He can hurt you with his legs as well. But he knows how to throw the football. So if he's not in the game, coming back off of this injury, it will hamper Missouri, because he is a good, solid quarterback that's having to really lift his team.
Defensively, guys, Missouri has had some issues. They've given up a lot of points. They've given up a lot of rushing yards. How does that play into what Georgia wants to do offensively? Do you think they can be exposed by the Bulldogs?
Scott, I'll start with this one, man. Obviously, the rushing game for Missouri has not been good. Their rush defense is 200. They give up 283 yards a game, which is, as you guessed it, probably last in the SEC. They're giving up almost 36 points a game. So this is a defense that's giving up a ton of yards, a ton of yak after catch and all that kind of stuff. So this is a team that you expect to have a really good success when you're going against them. Georgia's run game has been really good going into the season. They've started to kind of pick up later as the season go on, and we see them finish ball games out. Similar to what we saw at the beginning of the year with Clemson, Zeus running it in to close it out. And then similar to what we saw last week against the Gators, Zeus finished it off ground and pound, finishing teams off. And you love that about what Georgia's doing. So this is a style of defense that maybe if you want to work on the run game, you can do that, because they have struggled mightily all year long in the run game category. And Georgia continues to be that way. And one thing, I thought was pretty good is Georgia's second. They're first in the country, or first in the SEC, only giving up 5 sacks this year. So that means they're protecting the quarterback. They're protecting whoever's back there. And that's a great thing when you head into this stretch of the season of making sure your quarterback is upright, but especially in this ball game, making sure that nothing happens back there.
Well, listen, if we come in and play the way that we can play, I expect that we're going to be very, very deep in our roster this weekend. Listen, I expect much of the same. I expect Georgia to come in and be ready to play, put the game away early as we should. This game, to me, at least early on in film study is going to be very similar to what we saw at Vandy. And if we come out and take care of business, it's one that can be put away pretty early, and we'll see a lot of guys wearing red jerseys out on that field.
Georgia and Missouri are coming up Saturday. It's just 2 home games left, folks. So we want to see you loud and proud at Sanford Stadium on Saturday. It's a noon kick, 12:07 official kick time. We're on the air with you at 8 a.m. breakfast with the Bulldogs, so to speak, as we'll get it started. And your Bulldog broadcast day is a long one, so we hope you can join us all day long and follow these Eastern Division champion Bulldogs as they continue on their path towards what we hope is a national title. Again, 8 o'clock for our broadcast on the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network and a noon kickoff. And go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.